Welcome into Side Sessions here. Steven Strom, Jack McMullen's special guest early in the morning, Matt Mervis. Thank you very much for joining us. How you doing, man?
Doing well. Thanks for having me, guys.
You're off to a heck of a start. You've got 6 home runs, tied for 4th in Major League Baseball. But, you know, we wanted to have you on here not to talk about the day-to-day, but just baseball as a whole, man. What is the organization first given you personally for yourself?
I think the big thing for me is the fresh start. I'm really grateful for the opportunity to play just about every day, get a lot of at-bats, have a long runway, and just, kind of get my feet under me in the big leagues. And from an actual baseball perspective, I think it's been really good working with the hitting coaches. I've mentioned this around in other interviews, but had a really good FaceTime call in the off-season. They laid out a good plan for how we're going to attack spring training and throughout this season. I think we're doing a good job of that.
And they is who?
The hitting coaches, Pedro, Derek, and Joe, the hitting director. They looked into what I've done well in the past, what I kind of got away from the last 2 years, and we had a really good plan coming into camp.
Merv, I got to know you over the last couple of years in AAA, and that's not a place where you want to get to know an announcer, right? You want to get to know him in the big leagues. And, I got to know you as an Iowa Cub, and the Cubs, it was a unique situation where you weren't getting that runway that you just mentioned. I mean, you were up for 10 games, and then it was back to AAA, and you were mashing in AAA. Now that you have that kind of elongated runway in the big leagues, what does that mean for your kind of psyche on an everyday basis, knowing that you're a big leaguer the next day, even if you do go over 3?
Yeah, it feels good. I know. I pay attention to my own strikeout numbers and whiff numbers and all that stuff, and they're pretty elevated right now. But not having to worry about the repercussions of that, and just knowing I'm going to be back in the lineup today, I'm going to have the chance to work on stuff again, is huge for me. It's a lot of pressure off my shoulders to not feel it felt like a lot of eyes were on me to perform every single day. And obviously, there's still expectations here, but it's not to that extent.
In basketball, they call people that are always in the gym rats. I guess baseball field rats. Is that what it is? It feels like you're one of those. You're cerebral. What is your relationship with the game of baseball?
I just love it. I love being here. The hotels are great in the big leagues, but I'm by myself in the room. So, like I said, I think about my own stats, swing, whatever it is. I think a lot. So sometimes it's good to get away from myself and be around other guys who are all going through the same thing. And then from the actual work side of it, I love it. I love hitting. I love the weight room. I love doing defensive work on the field early and in the team setting. So it's just fun for me.
A lot of guys will, look at others and say, hey, I really appreciate what this guy does in the swing. I appreciate what this guy does. I know you're a guy that not only watches video of yourself, but watches the best on the planet at what they do. Who are some of the guys that jump out to you that you maybe take a little bit from in the swing, but also just admire the work that they do?
I think in our clubhouse, I'm impressed by Stowers and Conine a lot. I mean, pretty similar, bigger left-handed hitters, so it's easy for me to say that. Griff is constantly working on his swing, his feels, whatever he needs to do. Stowers has made a ton of really good adjustments from the spring all the way to this point in the season. And mentally, super impressed with Stowers, just the way he approaches baseball. His ability to flush a bat at bat, move on to the next one. And we've seen already he's had a couple games where he starts a little slow and then comes up big with a late inning hit. So just really impressed by his ability to do that. And then around the league, Schwarber, obviously, incredible power. Ellie De La Cruz, the way he's able to move in space and just the freedom in his swing, I think is really impressive. There are a lot of guys I really like watching.
Gotcha.
We had a conversation a couple days ago after whatever home run it was for you, and you talked about bouncing back, and you talked about this clubhouse caring if they lose. And I think this honestly gets lost. Like, fans think, oh, well, all these professional athletes, they make money, they just move forward the next day. But you told me this team cares, like, when they lose. Like, when you guys, fall in defeat, you guys are ready to get back. Well, what is that like to have that in the clubhouse?
It's great. I mean, losing sucks. It's never fun. It's easier, I think, if we all have the collective mindset of, sure, everyone around the league thinks we're here to develop and the Marlins are going to win 50 games or whatever. There's nobody in our locker room that's accepting that. We don't think we're a 50, 60 win team. We think we can really play competitive baseball. And so every loss is difficult. It's an opportunity to learn, but it's definitely frustrating. And we know we're capable of playing better baseball than we have the last 4 or 5 games, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
How do the wins feel in a big league clubhouse? I'm sure that has to be like the best feeling in the world.
It is. Every win is so valuable and so important. It's just, like I said, I love being around these guys. It's so fun to celebrate after everything comes together. We put a good game together and we get the result.
Go ahead, Jack. You got something?
Yeah, no, you told me you kind of walked through a funny process when you got family in town. And you had family in town in D.C., and then you have, I think I saw you talking to some people today in Philly or yesterday in Philly, and you said, listen, if we win, I'm going to be fun to be around. If we lose, I'm not going to be fun to be around.
I love that about Merv, that he takes it personal, man.
I love that.
Yeah.
Man. So what is your relationship with being at the ballpark versus getting away from the ballpark? I mean, how good are you at compartmentalizing what happens at the ballpark?
I'm okay at it. I'm definitely not the best at it. It's something I'm working on, but yeah, I mean, this matters to me. I want this to be my career. I want to make a lot of money playing this game. I want to enjoy playing this game, and I want to do it for a long time. So personally, I care when things don't go well. As a team, I care when we lose, but I do want to be better at when family's in town, I want to leave it here. At least, I mean, I can go back to it when I'm at the hotel, but kind of enjoy the family time while I can get it.
What's the vibe in the clubhouse right now?
Back to normal. Every day, I think we're really good at resetting, back to even, and just, bad loss yesterday. Wheeler shoved it, and it is what it is. I think we're going to attack today as we always do. We'll have our pregame work, we'll have our meeting, and come first pitch, I think it's back to square one.
Jack and I love you. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, and we want to share just you with our audience, man. And I know I hate to start with the negative, but I do want you to be a little bit vulnerable if you can, man. Like, how lonely sometimes can this game get for players?
It can get dark. It really can. I really struggled my first 2 times up to the big leagues, especially last year. And if you go down that rabbit hole, it's never ending. That was my second opportunity. I used my second option last year, and you start thinking, I've proven, not proven, I haven't proven that I can do it yet. I'm now down to 1 option remaining. How many guys get a third chance? Right. All this stuff. And so, like I said, being in the hotel, you can get in your own head, and it's hard to get out of it.
Who'd you lean on?
Veterans, family, just really anyone who I trusted to either take my mind off of baseball or give me some sort of advice. You really need to snap out of that quickly because it can keep going on you.
But when Matt Mervis is hot, and it's 6 homers in the early goings. It was 6 homers over the course of 7 games. And, I mean, dude, it is so much fun to watch. And you're going to grab changeups at the shins, and you're golfing them out to straightaway center.
Multiple
or right
home runs at the shins.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing, man. But when you're going, you're going. And 2022, you were one of the best players, maybe the best player in minor league baseball, because you were hot that entire year. And we've talked about this, your work with Derek Showman, Pedro Guerrero, bringing them back into the conversation. Them trying to find what made Matt Mervis hot, it feels like you kind of found that. If you wouldn't mind keying us into some of those mechanical things, what makes Matt Mervis go right?
A lot of it is, like I talked about how Ellie moves in space. He's got so much room to stay inside the ball and stay over the plate with his direction. That's a big one for me because as a right-handed thrower, naturally the right side of my body wants to take over, which leads to a flat swing and in and out of zone really quickly. So making sure that my posture is good, I have a good hinge, coil, whatever you want to call it, just making sure my back hip is engaged and staying locked in until it's time to release it and not leaking out early. That was a really big one we focused on in the offseason and into camp. and now it's just kind of hammering down the same stuff. There's a few directional things we're working on, a little bit of bat path, but I think that cleans up with good direction. So, just trying to get back to. It's hard to work retrospectively, but I mean that's the best swing I've ever felt. So I'm trying to get back to it.
Makes sense. Nicknames here. Mash Mervis, the Mervinator. You played for Team Israel in the World Baseball Classic, so the Hebrew Hammer has been circulating as well. What's your favorite?
I like the Hebrew Hammer. I think it's great.
Can we call you that?
You can call me whatever you want. I won't stop you. Mash was great. It was a couple Cubs fans and Joe over at Obvious Shirts did a really good job with that. I know one of the radio shows that started the Mervis Militia.
The Mervis Militia, that's good.
That's a good one. I like them all. I think they're all funny.
What's the most satisfying thing when you do belt one out of the park?
The dugout. Yeah. Actually, the bullpen has gotten on to me because I've never been a guy to
Get
like.
on point like
I started to because they started fining me for every home run.
Fining you? What is that?
Small fine, $20 every time, but they were getting mad at me. But
I love that they fine you for not giving them some love.
yeah,
Okay,
they
so
deserve
they-
love. It's my fault for not doing it, but.
Is
You
Blake
say
Bacher
they-
like
Yeah, you say
got the
they as a
can?
It was
collective.
it was Chichi. The Chichi Gonzalez is I think Bender got mad at me one time. There was somebody else in the spring. I forget who it was, but those guys work their ass off too. I gotta show respect to them.
Merv, last thing from me. The Duke family is real, and you lived with those guys in spring training. Graham Pauley's in the fold. Griffin Conine is in the fold. I mean, having a couple college teammates here, and I know that you didn't cross over with Graham, but you were there
I
with
did
Griff.
actually. Graham was there my senior year, so the shortened season.
That COVID-shortened
yeah,
season.
We were teammates for a little bit.
I think
sure it
Graham
was a heck
did he
of a
tell us
7
that? I
games.
think he did. He may have, but it was like he said, the shortened season.
Maybe one crossover. Yeah, he didn't cross over with Griff, but he crossed over
Griff,
with
yep.
Matt. I mean, having that connection, like you get traded to the Marlins, all of a sudden it's like, oh, Griff's one of my best friends. I'm playing with one of my best friends now. Oh, I'm playing with a former college teammate. Did that just kind of make this a hangout for you when you got to spring training? And that probably had to make life so little stress.
100%. You hear so many guys talk about the uncertainty of being traded. You don't know many guys in the clubhouse. You kind of walk on eggshells for a little bit. I had absolutely none of that. My first text was to Griffin and Adam Lasky, who's a pitcher in AA with us.
Immaculate inning the other day, by the way.
9 Ks, I think. He's off to a really good start. But I texted those guys and said, we got to get a spring training house together. Graham again, we were only teammates for a short period of time, but we've become really good friends over the years. I know Moskos from the Cubs. I know Alon from Team Israel. So I walked into a clubhouse knowing a good
Has to
amount of
make a
people.
huge difference.
Huge difference. I was comfortable walking in, and actually at FanFest was my first exposure to all the other guys. And I had Griff said, "Dude, I'm following you this weekend. Get me invited to dinners. Like introduce me to people." And he did an awesome job. So it's been a great transition.
I got 2 left for you. Do you have any questions for us, man? We never ask you, like, if you have anything for us. We just pepper you with, like, what's your loneliest moment? What's it like hitting a home run? Like, if you want us to be vulnerable, you let us know. Do you have any questions for us? And I'll let you think about that. But, we hope you're here for a long time, man. When fans talk about, who's Matt Mervis? Like, what do you want them to be able to say?
Kind of what we've talked about today. I love the game. I love the work. From a team perspective, if they ask about the Marlins in general, I want everyone to know that we care for each other. We care about the results on the field, and we're going to show up every day and give it our best shot. I mean, that's all you can really do. Just reset in between the good games and the bad games and play hard. But personally, I think that's what I would say is I'm going to give it everything I can, and we'll try to take off over the next year or two.
Any questions for radio? You have no you're a fan of radio, or do you
I
listen?
like radio. I do. I think it's very impressive to be able to do it without somebody watching you. You have to paint the picture so well that people will enjoy tuning into you guys. So I'm very impressed. My question, I think, for each of you is, who's your favorite player you ever seen?
Favorite player that we've seen live?
Or
take it
external?
I'll go a Marlin, and I'll go. Okay, go ahead.
Former Marlin, Mark Burley is my favorite athlete of all time. Best game that I've ever been to. Mark Burley at the end of his career with Toronto against Chris Sale, the peak of his powers with the White Sox. Dueling complete games in an hour and 54 minutes, and that was the best game ever, and Burley is my favorite athlete of all time.
I would say Yuri. Yuri was special, and I'm excited to see what
He will be
has
very
to.
special.
Yes.
He already is, and I'm excited to see what it looks like with. Honestly, I think there's a ton of valuability with sitting on the sideline and being able to at least like take in baseball for a year, which he did last year. Excited to see Yuri, and then I don't know if I feel. Is it okay if I name another player that's a non-Marlin?
Absolutely.
I mean, Merv asked me. I would say between Mookie and Ronald Acuna. I think those
those
two
are good answers.
were special as well.
There you go. Great question, Murph.
Yeah,
Thank you.
very good question. Thank you so much for joining us, man. Go get him. Keep hitting home runs. This is Side Sessions. Jack McMullen, Matt Mervis, Steven Traum. We'll talk to you next time.